Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look here, man is thinking about everything that the CO told him, everything, and he wants to let this go, but it's something in him that won't let him. He just can't do it. He can't do it. So he goes into the room that night, and he's laying in the bed. His gal, she done fell asleep, and he just staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what's his next move. And that old devil got a hold to him. So he gets up and he goes out to the garage and he looks behind the little part in the shed and he finds that gun that he had hidden, right? And he got it out and he's cleaning it up. And he decides, this is it. I'm going to do this tonight. I'm going to get dude tonight. And while it's dark, ain't nobody gonna know about it. I gotta get this up off me so I can move on. See, he's thinking that if he go on and get it out, he gonna be okay. It's gonna be a one-off. I'm just gonna do this and be done. And walk away and get my life together and just keep it moving. So he gets in his car and he pulls out. Now, she hears it. She look out. She called his phone. He don't answer. Calls again. He don't answer. She texts him, email him. He ain't answering. She's getting nervous and she reaches in that drawer by the bed. And she finds that card. And she sees that number on it. And she dials that number. On the first ring, the CO answered the phone. And she said, I'm Man's wife. He said, hey, how you doing? What's going on? She said, look, he just got up and he left. He's not responding to my emails, my texts, or my phone calls. She said, can you help me? He said, which way did he go? And she told him, and he said, I'm on it. See, the CO, he understood that mindset because he worked us for so long, and he concluded he's got to be headed to the side of town where he got robbed. This is the night that he's going to seek revenge. So the CO, he gets there before him because he lives closer to that side of town than Man did. So he gets there and he sees him when he pulls into the area, right, on this particular side of town. So he pulls up behind him and from a distance and he watches. And he sees him stalking this particular house, y'all. He sees him. And he sees somebody come out of the house and then he sees Man crack the door on the car. So the CO's thinking, okay, wait a minute. I got to do something and I got to do it now. He didn't see the gun at this particular time. So he gets out of his car. He walks up to Man on the other side of the car. He knocks on the passenger window and he jumps in the car with him. Man spooked. He said, man, I could have shot you. And the CO immediately said, and then you go back to prison. He said, what are you doing with that gun? Give me that gun. Man don't even look at him. He keep looking out the side of the window that he's on, trying to catch dude. He said, who you waiting for? Man told him, he said, man, I'm waiting on dude. He said, I advise you to get back in your car and leave. He said, now you do know that if you do something, I'm going to testify against you. And this is what I'm going to tell him when I testify against you. I'm going to tell him that your wife, this woman that wants to be your wife, called me and told me that you wasn't responding to her. And she asked me to help. And that I thought that you were going to try to retaliate. So I came looking for you. And I found you. And I saw you and I jumped in the car with you. And I told you to give me the gun. And you were non-responsive. I told you that you going back to prison and you still told me that I needed to leave. That's what I'm going to testify to. He said, now give me the gun. Man turned and he looked at him. Tears in his eyes. He said, that ain't going to work. Dry that up. That's not what we going to do today. He said, it's time for you to man up and stop acting like a little boy. So man's eyes got all tight and he looked and he said, I ain't no boy. He said, you acting like one. He said, this pride thing you got because he done hit you upside your head. He said, think about it. You still got it together. You got it going on, man. You got a woman that loves you, a son that looks up to you, a house to live in, and a job. Look, what else do you want? He said, man, I can't let nobody hit me and walk away. I can't let nobody do that. He said, why you think like that? Where did that come from? Who told you that you had to be like that? Who told you that? Man looked at him, and he's thinking about all these different things that he has said, and his mind is racing. He's going round and round and round, trying to figure out what is going on. And it reminds me, listen to me, y'all. It reminds me of a story in the Bible. Now, I don't want to preach to y'all, but I'm finna preach, okay? Listen to me. God made Adam and Eve, right? Now, he gave them everything. They could partake of everything in the garden except for that one tree. He said, don't eat of this fruit, right? So here come the devil sliding on his stomach, tripping. And he tells them, basically, God lying to y'all. You're going to be smarter than him. You're going to have eternal life, blah, 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 when you eat from this. Eve flip forward. She go get Adam to flip forward. They both eat. Now all of a sudden, they realize something. They're naked. And they felt ashamed. So God comes back to the garden and he's looking for them. He calls out for them. And then they say back to him, you know what I'm saying, that we're hiding, we're naked. And he asked them that one question, y'all. That first question that was asked. Who told you that? Now let me break this thing down for you. See, the devil is going to say things to make you feel ashamed about the mistakes that you make in your life. He going to tell you that you ain't worthy, that you not nothing, that don't nobody care, even God don't care about you because you made a mistake. It ain't true. It ain't true. Because once you accept that, and I need y'all to listen to me, because this was something that was real hard for me to grasp. When you make a mistake, y'all, God wants you to own it. Own it. And ask for forgiveness. And when you do that, you'll start to understand that that's what you're supposed to do when somebody offends you. And that was hard for me. That was hard for me to understand. That simple lesson. When you make a mistake, a bad decision, whatever you want to call it, ask God to forgive you. Ask the people that you offended and harmed to forgive you. And if you can't be around them to do it, just talk to God about it. Talk to God about wanting to ask them to forgive you. He'll let them know. Because sometimes you can't be around them, you can't be near them. You might not ever see them again. But ask them and God for forgiveness. And when you do that, what you're going to trigger is that apparatus that's inside of each and every one of us to forgive somebody that's going to offend us. Because it's going to happen. Getting your life together don't mean ain't nothing bad going to continue to happen. This stuff is going to always keep coming our way. So when man got hit in the head, he ain't understanding that he need to forgive dude. And the reason he didn't really understand that because he never asked for forgiveness. He did his time like a lot of people do. He did his time like a lot of people do. And he thought that was it. I'm out. I'm going to go on with my life. He kept this idea, this notion in his head that because he was a drug dealer, that he was doing something that was a victimless crime. There's no such a thing, y'all. Yeah, I know people say, well, you know, they want it and this and that, but you're taking advantage of people. You're giving them something that can kill them. You're giving them something that can hurt them, even though they think you give them something that's helping them. It's wrong. It's illegal. It's wrong, man. It's morally wrong. It's legally wrong. So he didn't feel that he needed to ask anybody that he had offended for forgiveness. And that stood in the way of him understanding that he needed to forgive the person that hit him upside the head and took the phone in his car. So the CO was telling him all of this, and he said, have you ever asked God to forgive you for what you did? And man said, no, I did my time. He said, but did you ask God to forgive you for what you did? He said, no. He said, do it now. Do it now before you do this, so you can find some grace and mercy, because you're going to need it. Ask God to forgive you for what you did. Ask him. So something came over man, and he had to do it right then and there. And he asked God to forgive him. And when he did, he started crying. And as he started crying, the CO didn't let up. He seen him, he had him in the headlock. And he said, now, ask God to help you find a way to ask all the people that you hurt to forgive you. And he did. He crying, snot coming out of his nose, his hands shaking, and his CO reached over and he grabbed that Glock and he took it from man. No resistance at all. And he put it in his waistband. And he said, let's go home, man. So man started up the car. And the CO said, let me get out. I'm going to follow you. And right when the CO got out of the car, that young man that had hit man in the head with their gun walked out that door of the house that he was in. Man jumped out that car and walked over there to him. And he told him, he said, man, you remember me? The young dude, he couldn't have been no more than 18, 19 years old. Eyes got big as a $50. He said, man, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. Man looked at him. And he told him, he said, man, I forgive you for what you did to me. He said, I just got out of the penitentiary and I'm trying to get my life together. And I was struggling doing this DoorDash thing, and then you came along and you robbed me and you took my car and my phone from me. But I'm okay. And he said, if what you did to me wouldn't have happened, I probably would have ended up back in the penitentiary for something else, because I didn't take that final step. I didn't do that final thing that I needed to do to find it in my heart to forgive you for what you did. So this young man is standing there looking at him, confused, not knowing what to say. And he put his hands down by his side, and man said, you ain't gonna understand what I'm saying right now, but one day you will. And he said, man, I'm telling you, stay out of these streets. Stay out of these streets, man. Because it ain't no good for you. You're gonna find yourself in prison like me for 18 years. And that ain't what you want. And that's what I'm saying to all of y'all. I've been in here almost 40 years. 40 years. Coming up on that. And that's not what you want. That's not what you want. So you gotta start to question who's telling you that The things that you're doing are okay. The pain that you're causing people is okay. Who's telling you that? Whoever's telling you that is being influenced by the devil. And it's only one goal that the devil has, and that's to take as many people to hell with him as he can. Don't be on that list. So man, he goes back home and the PO follows him just to make sure. You know, you always gotta make sure, you know, when a person is turning around that, you know, you holding them up. You don't just walk away because they say they get it. You gotta be there and be that support for them. So man gets home and his wife, his girlfriend, she's standing at the door because CO called and told her he's okay, we're on the way home. Man gets out of the car, he runs up to the door and he grabs it and he hugs and he's crying, he's telling her, I'm sorry, I almost blew it. She tells him it's okay. She hugged the CO and told him thank you. He said, everything's gonna be okay. He said, call me. Make sure you call me. Anytime. Day or night. Man hugged him and told him, I will. And the CO left. He went in the house and he sat down at the table and he told his girlfriend what had happened and what the CO had said to him. And she sat there and she cried and her son got up and he came in there and he was listening to what was being said, and he ran and he grabbed man and he hugged him and he told him that he needed him. He needed him. And man started crying and told him he was not going anywhere. And he got his life together. He got his life together from that point on, and he finally proposed and he got married. And the CO was his best man. Imagine that. The CO was his best man at the wedding. And he gave this big old speech and he told everybody what happened. And man's PO was there. Now keep in mind, man's still on paper, okay? But man's PO was there at the wedding. Man invited his PO. And the PO got permission to go. And he's sitting there and he's listening to this story that the CO is telling, and he looked over at man and he was like, what? He didn't say it out loud, but it was the way he looked at me and said, are you kidding me now? All of this happened, and as the PO continued to listen to the whole story, he did the same thing everybody else in the audience did. He broke down and started crying. But he pulled man to the side. He said, don't do that again. He said, don't do that again. And man told him, you can believe that'll never happen again. It'll never happen again. And I said all of that to say, man, get it together. Get it together, y'all. It's not hard. It's not hard. Just admit one thing, that you know nothing and God knows everything. Ask him for forgiveness and he gonna guide you down that road to meet people that are gonna help you. Listen to him. Leave them streets alone, y'all. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.